Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a general reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Taurus, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. Taurus, I hope that you're doing well. I'm going to be using two decks for your reading today. One is going to be the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck for the overall energy, and the Tarot of the Abyss for your tarot reading. Cards have been pre-shuffled. For Taurus, please, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Taurus, what is the overall, thank you, energy for Taurus? Interesting. You got number 14, which corresponds to the Temperance card, and the word is yellowing. I don't think I've ever gotten this card for a reading before. You know, in kind of one sense, it's almost like I'm looking at the top of a cracked egg, not like cracked in a pan, but like an eggshell, and that this snake is kind of emerging from the egg. Could also be looking up at the sky, at the sunlight. That's a really interesting energy, because yellowing to me represents things that are getting old, right? Like that are worn or aged, which is, I'm not calling you old, Taurus. That's not what it's about. But it's this sense that something perhaps within you has been kind of aging over time. It's not your actual age that I'm talking about, but it's like a situation or a memory or something that's kind of yellowing around the edges. Like maybe it's starting to deteriorate. Like if it's a memory that you had of a past person, your things are starting to kind of yellow at the edges, as if you're not quite able to see it clearly anymore. Things are starting to fade from view, right? This process of disintegration. You know, it also reminds me of, I'm seeing something very specific, which is in, oh God, what movie was it? Harry Potter and the something something, right? I feel like it was, nope, can't remember which movie it is. So terrible. I need to start watching those movies again. I literally watch them every few months and I can't remember which movie it is, but it's the one where Harry gets the Marauders map. Harry Potter, you know, comes into possession of this magical, enchanted map that shows him the location of everyone in, thank you, Spirit, there's something to it, in Hogwarts, the castle where his school is. He can see the location of everyone, and even people that he thought were not alive anymore, he can see them. They show up on the map. So it's kind of like, what's that thing on iPhones? What's that thing? Find My Phone? What? Like those programs where you can like see where your family members are based on where their phone is. I'm not technologically savvy. Like, I don't know what those things are called. But it's kind of like that. But it represents, or it's a stand-in for the recesses of your memory. Like you have this map, and perhaps somebody or something is showing up there that doesn't make any sense. Or it's very specific. This is a very specific message. Somebody is showing up in your memory that doesn't make sense to you. Why? Perhaps they're showing up in your dream state. You don't know why. but it's like faded. Now I'm hearing the song by Maisie Starr, Fade Into You. That's an amazing song. You should listen to it. So take it as it resonates. It's just the channel messages that I'm getting about that. 3 cards for the base spread, 3 cards for clarifier. There is no particular past, present, future, anything like that. I just want to get a general message, take the temperature on what's going on for you right now. 5 cards out, 1 more. Whoa, okay. Thank you, Spirit. All right. We start off with the number 11, the Justice card. This showed up for Virgo in the same exact place on my table, but it was in the reverse for them. And for you, it's in the upright. Justice, Libra energy. You can see the scales of justice in her eyes. So that's interesting to me because it's like talking about like being able to see justice, being able to see the outcome of a perhaps karmic situation. You're able to see how justice is coming in for you. Karmic retribution. Retribution is an interesting word. It can kind of go both ways. Somebody can receive retribution or give retribution. It's clarified by the 9 of Pentacles. Pre-Empress energy talks about somebody who is independent, independently wealthy, independently minded, has worked hard, right? It comes after the 8 of Pentacles, which is the card of diligence and tenacity. By the time we reach the 9, it's like all that hard work we've invested is now something we can enjoy. And we look beautiful doing it, right? So this card, clarifying, the Justice card kind of tells me that it's been a long time coming, Taurus. It's been a long time for you to wait for your karmic balance to come through. But you've been putting in the work, right? Because the sense of, or the idea of karma in the first place is that we come to this life with it, right? Like in some religions, it's sin. Like we come to life with sins and with karma, and not knowing what we did in a past life. We just understand that there are lessons. We're learning those lessons. And it's like you've learned a very important lesson. And now you, through your hard work and through your diligence and through your sheer will and determination, you're now going to be able to enjoy that. Can I have a clarifier for the Justice card? Thank you, Spirit. 4 of Pentacles in reverse. Part of the lesson for you was opening up to the world. This card in the upright is a protective stance. You can see here, he's using that pentacle like it's a shield. It can be very shrewd, can be very miserly, this card. We're holding on so tightly to our little coin purse, to all of our information, to everything. We're just like so stingy. This card can be a card of stinginess, and there's lots of noises right now. It's a very important message. The sense that you thought that you had to hold on to something to the point where it closed you off from everything else. It could just be like a mentality, a narrative that you told yourself, right? Perhaps it has something to do with these memories, kind of these people, these situations cropping up to the surface, coming up to the surface that don't really make a lot of sense to you, right? Like, why did that person show up in my memory or in the recesses of my mind? Right? It could have something to do with that. And maybe there was maybe he blocked it out for a while. and it's kind of coming to the surface. You're allowing it to come to the surface. You're thinking about it. Let me give you an example. Let's say when you were a little kid, maybe you were like an awkward little kid. I mean, what little kid isn't awkward? As an adult, I look at all children and I think, how awkward, right? Maybe you're an awkward little kid and some other kid bullied you for it. And you never, maybe you don't even think, or maybe you never really think about that person anymore. But whatever they said to you just stuck. I will never forget the moments when I was bullied as a kid. I used to have very, very, very crooked teeth, all up until my 20s when I got braces. I had crooked teeth. And I just remember this girl who said, she acted like she was my friend, but man, she made fun of my teeth. She used to say that I had an ugly smile. Right? People are cruel. What's it? And obviously, it says more about the other person than it does about you. And I literally haven't thought about that girl until this very moment, right? But it hurt me so much that I just incorporated not smiling. Right? It's so interesting because he's even covering his mouth, right? And I've never told this story on this channel, so I just never smiled. Or it was just, it was like this, or it's not that I didn't smile. I laughed a lot as a kid, but like, I didn't like to smile. I was shy about it. I knew that my teeth are crooked, and it just was something that I didn't want to be a comment. And so most of the time I would just have a bad look on my face and be standoffish so that people didn't have to see this thing that I perceived as a weakness, that somebody told me was a weakness. Right? So there are a lot of things about that girl that I could tell you where karma came in even as like a 7th grader. But I don't need to rehash it here. Right? There's something like that. It's an old narrative that you're now allowing to bring to the surface so that you can purge it, transmute it, let it go. We did get the number 14 here. I can read Roman numerals up to a certain point. You start putting the L in and then I get confused. Number 14 is the Temperance card in the Major Arcana, and that card is all about transmutation. So taking one thing, one state of being, and turning it into another state of being. Transmuting it. Evolving it. So taking all of these memories or misgivings about oneself and bringing them to the surface to say, is it really true that just like I'm an ugly hag? Or is that just something that somebody tried to make me think about myself? The next card out, Sun in reverse. Remember how I was saying it was like, oh, now I just heard Black Hole Sun. Thank you, Spirit. That song, Black Hole Sun. I don't really like that song, but it's like, black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain? I don't think there are many more lyrics to that song than that, but because I think he repeats them a lot. The sun is in reverse here, and it just kind of, these two energies are echoing one another. The sun in reverse specifically, and this. There's like a layer, it's like a layer of haze over this card. And there's a layer of a lack of clarity. Like there's like a filter of something that you are trying to unmask. The Sun, number 19 in the Major Arcana. It's the best card in the entire tarot. It's abundance, illumination, life-giving energy, abundance in all of its forms. And when it's in the upright, it's like spirit just bestowing us and smiling down upon us with so much good luck and so much good fortune. It's still a beautiful thing when it's reverse, but it's almost like we're on the precipice of holding on to it, grabbing onto it. We see it, it's there, we want to go after it, we understand it, but not quite within our grasp, not quite yet. 10 of Swords underneath that in reverse, because there's still some painful truths that we need to release. 10 of Swords is all about where we've experienced disappointment and heartache and heartbreak, and a leveling of our whole ideology about something, right? The Swords are all about air energy, so it's all about the cerebral and the mind space. So it's like the 10 of Swords shakes up everything we understood intellectually regarding a situation. It shakes the whole thing up. Okay, Spirit is showing me a very specific reference. The book is called The Room, and there's also a film based on that book. It's so traumatic, that movie. And the book. It's so good, so traumatic. Really not going to recommend unless you're up for something like that. But essentially it talks about this woman who gives birth to her child, a child who's a product of violence, basically. I'm going to use the terminology like that. And she raises this child in captivity. She's a prisoner from this person who kidnapped her. And so she raises her child in captivity. And so all he's ever known, he's like, I don't even know, 3, 4, 5 maybe. The only life he's ever known, his whole experience up until the age of 5, is a single room, plus like a bathroom. That's it. He doesn't know the external world. And so she has to, he knows there's something beyond that room, but he doesn't know what it is. And he's almost been, by necessity, brainwashed by his mother out of survival so that he never asks questions. And so when the cops finally come and, the kid actually is the reason why they get their freedom. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, here's this 3, 4, 5-year-old kid. The only world he's ever known is this one little room. And then suddenly, the entire world, the world at large, is presented to him, and it really messes with his brain. You could understand why, how that would mess with somebody's psyche. It's the whole ideology of what you thought your world was crumbling down, and seeing things more clearly, seeing things as they are. That is the extreme version of this card in the reverse. Because in the upright, it's coming to that clarity, coming back to the Ace of Swords. In the reverse, we're still on the precipice of trying to understand. There's some deeper meaning here, and you're really trying to get it. And it has to do with something in your memory. It's like something somebody told you when you were younger, right? Just like my crooked teeth story. What does this clarity have to do with, Spirit? Wow, you see? 3 cards came out. The Temperance, beautiful, beautiful synchronicity here. We've already talked about the Temperance card, and here it shows up in your reading. Sagittarius energy, the transmutation from one state of being into another state of being, a patient process. The Hanged One in reverse. This is the card in reverse. This is the card in the upright. What a beautiful synchronicity. Synchronicity number 2. Because in this particular rendition of the Hanged Man, which talks about getting a perspective, a much needed perspective on things, it's when the card is in reverse that the landscape makes sense. But the card is in the upright, we're turning things on their head. Right? So you have it in the reverse. It's almost as if you don't want to see it any other way than the way you've understood it this whole time. But eventually this card has to flip over in the upright. It's not like the natural state of the cards to be in reverse. When cards are in reverse as a tarot reader, it indicates to me how I should interpret the card. But the card naturally, all the cards naturally, it's like hard to explain, but just from a energetically, they want to, their natural home, right, is in the upright, where everything is topsy-turvy. And it's so poignant because it's not always depicted this way. It's just in this deck for your reading. 3 of Swords in reverse. You got the 10 of Swords and the 3 of Swords, 2 of the hardest cards to deal with in the tarot. There's that narrative, piercing the narrative, throwing all of the words and letters up in the air. 3 of Swords is heartache and heartbreak, disappointment, right? But in a different way to the 10. It's the 10, by the time we get to the 10, we're going to be at that place of wisdom soon. The 3 is like, it's fresh. It just happened. It stings. And we haven't really been able to get over it. You want the card to be in the upright so you can move on to the 4 of Swords, which is rest and recuperation. We're not quite there yet. This is not easy, Taurus. It's like not an easy reading, but this is life, and you're going to find that clarity soon. But it really, really depends on you allowing this energy to bubble up to the surface so you can just deal with it and then start again, start fresh. And there is a lot of fight. 5 of Wands in the reverse, right? This is the card of chaos and conflict. It is in reverse though, so, you know, I like to see it in reverse personally, just because you're trying to mitigate that conflict within the self. But it's almost like you're placating yourself. What does that mean? It's like, there, Taurus. We don't have to think about that right now. Like, you're really trying hard to remain neutral. And I understand why, especially if whatever is coming into your psyche now is something that you didn't want to remember. And if it's traumatic, then please seek professional help. But it's coming to the surface now for a reason. You know what's really crazy? I started to look at this and I saw a skull. I didn't see that before, but now it's like, and now the skull harkens back to the Death card in the Major Arcana. Endings bringing new beginnings. Why do we need to do this? The Spirit is saying, because you deserve for all of your hopes, dreams, and wishes to come true. 9 of Cups, that's what this is all about. We're not meant to live a life in a lack mentality. We're meant to be abundant. There's enough abundance in the universe for everyone. We just have to put ourselves in that same space with abundance. We have to make friends with abundance. Right now, Your friends are these energies. It's tough. Can I get one last card of advice for Taurus? Seven of Wands in reverse. This was the same piece of advice that Virgo got. Exactly. Spirit's advice to you is open up, because this is a card of blocking. Open up to possibilities, open up to things. Open up to the sense that you're worthy and deserving of more. I'm going to read from the book, The Yellowing. I realized just now that I did not read for Virgo. Maybe they won't notice. All right. Yellowing. Aging, transitioning, warning. Indicating transition, the yellowing leads us onto the next phase of our alchemical work. Envision the yellowing as pages of a beloved novel or the ochre blanket of leaves in the fall. This color seeps out to signify the beginning of the end, a return to zero. Even a deep bruise finds a yellow tint as it reaches its final phases of healing. In contrast, yellow can be the marker of a long-awaited growth, as seen in the first rays of the sun and the cheer of forsythia in February. Whatever its message, yellowing tells the truth. Didn't I say it's better to look at the truth? Truth is something you can work with. It leads us forward, like the vibrant canary in the mine, warning of what's to come. Take heed. The transition is here, whether by yoke or bile. How to respond is up to you. It's likely you already know. So that's your reading, Taurus. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Taurus.